One of the worst takes in the world of personal finance is the notion that $1 million is not a lot of money. This mindset is not only out of touch with reality, but dismissive of the effort, discipline, and the time it takes to reach such a milestone. Let's dig into the numbers and see why this idea could not be further from the truth. I will let the numbers do the talking. The United States is home to the largest number of millionaires globally. No surprises there. Around 21.9 million people. That's roughly 6.6% of the country's population, which includes everyone: children, adults, retirees, and working professionals. But this number also includes the value of primary residences, which is often a substantial part of the net worth for many. And while a home should absolutely be included in net worth calculation, it's worth asking what happens when we look at investable assets only. When we strip out primary residence, the number of millionaires drops significantly. There are roughly 7.43 million Americans with investable assets of $1 million or more. The total US population is roughly 337 million. So let's do some quick math here. 7.43 million divided by 337 million is just 2.2% of the country's population. Think about that. Roughly 2 out of every 100 Americans hold at least $1 million in investable assets. When you consider how small this group is, it's clear just how rare and significant $1 million truly is. And even if you add primary residence to this equation, 6.6% or roughly 6 out of every 100 Americans are millionaires. That's really not a lot. Now, what inspired me to make this video in the first place? I came across an article on CNBC listing the average net worth each generation says would make them feel successful. These numbers were fascinating. Gen Z said $9.5 million, millennials $5.6 million, Gen X $5.3 million, and baby boomers landed on $1 million. Curious about people's thought, I posted these figures on my Facebook page, and the responses were, to say the least, eye-opening. One comment stood out immediately. $5 million is the new million and would be quite an achievement. $1 million is attainable for the median American who lives below their means and invests diligently for retirement. This was a popular comment, and many people agreed with this comment. But then came the polarizing takes. One individual dismissed $1 million outright, calling it a joke, and setting their personal target at $5 million. While I respect their ambition for setting their goals high, calling $1 million a joke is completely detached from reality. Then there was this gem. Most people saying that $1 million isn't enough probably don't have $100,000. This comment hit the nail on the head. It's easy to dismiss $1 million when you're not even close to achieving it yourself. Or better yet, it's easy to dismiss $1 million when you have no idea of the effort and the time it takes to reach this milestone. Now, to those who say $1 million does not go as far as it used to, let's address that. Yes, inflation has eroded the purchasing power of dollars over time, and $1 million today isn't the same as it used to be in the 80s or the 90s. Especially during post-COVID, we saw inflation over 9%. That's the first time I think people heard of I-bonds, which are tied to inflation. I think before COVID, most people had no idea what I-bonds were. So part of the narrative that $1 million isn't what it used to be is tied to recent events. And I agree that $1 million isn't what it used to be, but does that make it insignificant? Absolutely not. You want to take a guess of what the median net worth in the United States is? About $121,000. This means that $1 million is more than 8 times the wealth of the median household. Even with inflation, it remains a sum of money that provides financial security. Let's also talk about practicality. Using the 4% withdrawal rule, a guideline for sustainable retirement income, you can withdraw $40,000 annually from a $1 million portfolio. Combined with Social Security benefits, that's a comfortable retirement for many. And while it won't fund a luxury lifestyle, it will provide stability, cover your needs, and even allow for some of your wants. And for most Americans, this kind of financial freedom is a dream come true. So why do so many people downplay the significance of $1 million? Part of it is the distorted lens of social media, where wealth is often exaggerated and the lifestyles of the ultra-rich are glamorized. Comparing $1 million to the fortunes of billionaires or influencers misses the point entirely. The average person isn't trying to keep up with Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk. They're striving for stability, security, and a life where money isn't a constant worry. In that context, $1 million is monumental. There's also a cultural shift in perceptions of wealth. Younger generations, shaped by rising costs and economic uncertainty, may feel that higher targets are necessary to achieve their goals. That's fair, and aiming for $5 million or more is a fantastic goal. But setting higher targets does not make $1 million any less significant. It's still a huge achievement, representing years of disciplined saving, smart investing, and consistent effort. Anyway, after reading through the interesting comments on my first post, I was in a playful mood, so I decided to make another post on the same day. It read, $1 million is a joke. Chad, net worth -$7,001. As expected, the responses were a mix of agreement and disagreement, but two comments stood out and I think they're worth discussing. The first comment suggested, should do a post on liquid rich versus asset rich. To add a caveat, primary homes/equity does not count. Now, I don't entirely agree with the idea that home equity should not count. It absolutely counts. Accounting 101 tells you that your net worth should include your assets minus your liabilities. And let's not forget, you can tap into that equity if needed, whether it's through downsizing, refinancing, or even selling your property outright. That said, I do understand the distinction being made here. Someone with $1 million in investable assets is in a fundamentally stronger position with someone with an $800,000 house and $200,000 in their investment account. Investable assets do make a big difference, but that does not mean home equity is meaningless. It is a part of your wealth, even if it's not as easily accessible as cash or stocks. The second comment was from someone named Dan, and he wrote, $1 million is a joke for someone that works 50 years to get it and then lives to see inflation destroy it, before anyone starts screaming about gains because blah blah blah. Okay, inflation is a valid concern when discussing long-term wealth, especially for retirees relying on fixed incomes. But again, inflation should not negate the importance of reaching this milestone. The rest of the comment is all emotions. So, in my opinion, yes, $1 million is undeniably a lot of money, especially if you look at the numbers. And I think most people would choose to have $1 million over not having it. However, an equally important factor to consider is when in life you have that $1 million. Age plays a significant role in shaping how far that money can take you. What I'm trying to get to is that financial context, your age, your goals, and your expectations matter just as much as the amount in your bank account.